I read Fritz Gilbert's Keys to a Successful Retirement, and I'm sharing the best takeaways so you can follow Fritz's advice to stay happy, active, and productive in your retirement years. Before I share with you Fritz's #1 tip for a successful retirement, I'd like to show you how to apply some of his concepts to improve your retirement. Fritz's book is truly about how to have a successful retirement. The best part about Keys to a Successful Retirement is that it was written by an actual retiree, roughly 2 years into his retirement. This isn't just theory, it's honest advice from someone who's been there before, and they succeeded. There are 24 retirement tips listed. One to keep top of mind is number 3. Spend time thinking about the non-financial ingredients of your retirement. In time, you'll find they're more valuable than money. When I interviewed Fritz for my podcast, he shared his 90-10 rule for retirement. When you're getting ready for retirement, you'll probably spend 90% of the time going through the financials and numbers, and only 10% of the time thinking about the non-financial part of retirement. Then, when you hit retirement, it flips, and you'll care 90% about the non-financial parts and only 10% about the financial parts of retirement. You might know that Fritz blogs at his site, theretirementmanifesto.com. He looked at all the articles he wrote before retiring and the articles he wrote since, and he discovered he focused on the numbers beforehand and a lot less on the numbers afterwards. He writes, "I'm spending a lot less time looking over the numbers these days and a lot more time focusing on the things that bring true contentment in life. It shows in my writing, and it's a reality in my life." In order to make retirement a success, find ways to focus on the non-financial parts of retirement as you're doing all your retirement planning. I'm Mr. Retirement, and I want you to get more interest, pay less in taxes, and avoid big retirement mistakes. Subscribe to my channel, Mr. Retirement, so you can stay up to date with all the latest trends on how to get the most out of your retirement. Fritz starts his book by saying that the first cup of coffee in your first morning of retirement will be one of the best cups of coffee you've ever had in your life. While that part is true, you won't get there without planning, and you might get derailed by some of the pitfalls of retirement. Part of your planning needs a focus on people and places. If you're planning to downsize or relocate in retirement, Fritz suggests you spend a good amount of time in your new location before you make that final decision. Just because you vacationed in Orlando every year in March for the past 30 years doesn't mean it's the right place for you to move to in retirement. Rent a house for a month instead of staying in a hotel for a week. Go there during the off season. Try to live like a local because you'll be a local if that's where you move. Some other great advice is to do your major spending while you're still working. If you're going to buy a boat, fix up your house, or maybe buy a second house, you will feel much better and you'll have more capacity to spend that money when you're working. Fritz echoes a lot of my clients in saying there are few things in life more stressful than realizing your paycheck is stopping forever. One way to take away some of that stress from all your extra spending in that first year of retirement, and there's usually a lot of extra spending that first year, is to do that spending while you're working. When you can take that money from your income instead of from your investments, it will feel a lot better. Now, don't underestimate how much retiring will change your relationships. You'll probably lose a majority of your work relationships. You'll want to focus on creating some retirement relationships before you're retired. Get more active in church. Play cards with friends. Stick around and say hi to the other people in your yoga class instead of running out to get ready for work as soon as possible. If you're married, your relationship with your spouse will change. Just because you're the one working and your spouse is already stay at home doesn't mean this retirement isn't a big change for them. Talk about your retirement transition before and after you retire. Plan for some alone time. Plan for some together time. And great advice from Fritz is don't leave things to chance. Plan a date night every week or two and put them on the calendar for the next 12 months. Make your spouse and your relationship a priority. I want you to have a successful retirement. So before I share Fritz's #1 retirement tips for success, if you're one of the first 3 people who subscribe and ask for the book in the comments, I will send you a copy of Fritz's book. Fritz's #1 retirement tip, which is so important he put it into his 24 retirement tips twice, is invest as much time as possible into planning for your retirement. He put it another way as take as much time as possible preparing for retirement while you're still working. It is the single biggest differentiator between success and struggle. No one wants to struggle with retirement, yet time and time again, I ask people what they plan to do in retirement, and they say, I don't know. I did a retirement webinar series, and I was reviewing what stage of life the 10 new clients that started working with us, what stage of life they're in. The average new client who watched my retirement webinar asked to have my team start planning their retirement. They had retired 3 months earlier. Now, it's never too late to start planning, but the sooner you plan and the more you read books like Keys to a Successful Retirement, the better off you'll be. You only get one shot at retirement. This retirement transition will probably be harder than you think. Fritz did a survey of pre- and post-retirees, and 20% ahead of time said it would be difficult. Then 50% afterwards said it was difficult. Your transition into retirement is likely to be difficult. You only get one shot to get retirement right, which is why you're diving into Fritz Gilbert's Keys to a Successful Retirement. To get even more prepared, watch my interview with Fritz where he tells you what he did personally to get ready for retirement. I'll see you there.